December 31st, 2025. Guys, happy New Year's Eve. Getting ready to start a brand new one. And we may have some good news. Now, the politicians, whatever it would be their proper name, have been off work again for the last few weeks, and now they've got till January the 6th to show back up at work. But we do have some good news because some people are working. And there's an investigator that's been out there for a while. A lot of people know who he is. But what's happened is you're looking at John Thune, and he's the leader of the Senate, Republican leader of the Senate, and he's done a lot of bad things. He's a Rhino. He has stopped, Trump has asked them to stop the filibuster a few times. And what Thune did is refuse to do that. Also hold a lot of what's called like a pro temp meeting, to where they show up for a minute, they don't vote on anything, and that way they can declare that they are present in D.C. and that votes cannot be held without them. If they're gone with no type of not showing up at all, guys, for a period of time, the president can override them. And so he stepped in, done that, blocked the filibuster. And when Trump and Pence was running, Thune begged Trump to step down and let the traitor Pence run the election and take the presidency. Now, he graduated out of college 40 years ago, never had a job, been a politician ever since. But now he's facing a FEC, Federal Elections Commission, complaint over alleged $1.1 million campaign money laundering scheme. He's as dirty as any of the Democrats. Now, guys, we talked about in a video 2 weeks ago maybe about what's called the Smurfs. And it was mostly Democrats at that time that were money laundering into their campaign funds. And they would take the identification of the elderly mostly, and you could have like a $25 donation limit. And they would use this person's information, these elderly people's information, to money launder millions of dollars into campaign finances. A lot of it's Democrat now. We're finding out Thune is right in the middle of it. But anyway, the Smurfs are the people that are being taken advantage of. And what they'll do is they'll have one person that each day puts in $25 or whatever for months leading up to the election. And that's where they get the name Smurf. Don't even know they're doing it because they're not doing it. The crooked politicians are. And Thune now he's going to face reality because he's been hiding behind that rhino mask for too long. It says the Senate leader has been accused of massive money laundering. One of the best freedom fighters in America just dropped a truth bomb. Investigative reporter Peter Berniger just released information that pertains to the pretend Republican that is the Senate Majority Leader. And now with his filing to the FEC, the Election Committee, Berniger names both Thune and his treasurer. Now, the timing was excellent. The day after Christmas is when Berniger stated the following: Senator at John Thune, I named your treasurer, Nicole Weyers, W-E-Y-E-R-S, in my complaint to the FEC on the money laundering into your campaign. I'm also referring her for alleged felony crimes from her position as treasurer in your campaign committee. It's going to be interesting about your bank your campaign committee used to launder the money. Interesting, John, you went from college right into politics and never worked in the private sector, then called for President Trump to drop out and let Judas Mike Pence run for president instead. He's done a lot, blocked the filibusters, got in the way of so much of what Trump's trying to do. This is perfect karma for him. We just hope we don't get another Judas in there to replace him. Berniger mentioned something I wasn't aware of. He said a Republican Thune, he never worked a day in private sector for 40-some years, just wants to play with all of our lives. He is also a big supporter of the fake, corrupt Ukraine war, which the USA's agency started. He is the one that has been blocking the vote to stop the weekly, guys, do you hear me, weekly $40 million to the Taliban. Maybe he must have been raised by John McCain, but anyway, that's $160 million a month, guys, that John Thune, this freak of nature, is sending from our taxpayer monies. And no wonder the big, beautiful bill is so bloated. Now, here's the official complaint to the FEC, and it's in the matter of Thune and Wires, both listed as respondents. It's filed in complaint to 52 USC, gives the numbers there. It says analysis of FEC contribution records for Friends of John Thune, committee ID, gives a number, reveals 3,996 transactions totaling $1,148,902 attributed to 714 unique donor identities that exhibit statistically anomalous characteristics consistent with smurfing, a structured contribution scheme in which funds from one or more true sources are routed through numerous reported donor IDs to evade contribution limits and disclosure requirements. So he broke federal law. It says these flagged transactions represent 19.5% of the committee's 20,536 total transactions and 12.3% of the committee's 9 million total committee transaction valuation, guys, as defined in the comprehensive smurfing report methodology over the reporting period going back, guys, 10 years. That's how long he's been doing this. And he wants to stand up there again and try to circumvent Trump and tell us how we should really live our lives with that smug look on his face. Now, this is again, the timing's perfect. They're going to be gone for another week, I think January 6th. They reconvene, and I'm sure we'll see them 2 or 3 days, and they'll find somewhere else to wander off to. Really, the fact that the Insurrection Act is the only way to stop them and the corrupt judges from getting done the things that need to happen here in the U.S. to bring us back to a decent society and safety, closed borders, and getting our tax burden off our back. They're talking about the tariffs. We may see a couple $1,000s next year because of tariffs, like kind of a temporary refund. But guys, compared to what they steal from us, that's chump change. It's like they're feeding the beggars crumbs off the table to keep us quiet. Luckily, a lot of us have enough sense not to depend totally on the government. Sometimes you may not have a choice, but when you've got these people like this, what are you supposed to think? Anyway, they've got to come down on him hard. Guys, I want you to please share this video. It's not anything spectacular if you're not into politics, but if you're into trying to possibly save this nation, and what would he do in the next election coming up? Will he be paid off to go Democrat or to stop things and pull a Mike Pence? Who knows? And that's what he wanted the last time. He wanted Pence instead of Trump. And knowing that Pence was not only a rhino, but a demon, a traitor to the nation. And Pence, he never looked trustworthy. If you guys remember, during the first term of Trump, first 4 years, he stood back there and grinned like a mule eating briars. But his eyes had hatred in them as he stared at the back of Trump's head. I remember it completely. Then look what he did to Trump after the election. Anyway, Thune is no better, and this may be a decisive factor. We're seeing Tim Walz get in so much trouble by the hour It was by the day. Now it's by the hour. I don't see how he can make it through. Or Inmar. She is probably responsible for a good bit of the theft that's been going on in Minnesota, along with Tim Walz. And now they're finding it, guys, in state after state after state. Blue states, by the way. And so the video last night I did, very short 2-minute one, just showing what they were doing. They're shutting off the HHS funds without proper identification, documentation, photo IDs, all of that. That is, we're seeing chops into this dead tree called the Democratic-run political suicide mission. But it's basically a takeover of the nation. And in this case, it looks like a lot of it's being done by rhinos and the Muslim community. I mentioned this in the comment last night. If Kamala and Tim Walz had got into the White House, it would be over, guys. Look at what he's done to his state and look at who he sold out to. The entire country would be, I don't know what we would do, guys. We would probably all have to move. I don't know what would happen if that would have happened. Same thing with Hillary. Trump put it off for 4 years. Then here comes Mike Pence and that bunch. Destroy everything for 4 years. Worse than Obama. Obama set it all up and had a lot to do with Sleepy Joe's terms. Now we're into the first year of Trump, and we're starting to see some of the weeds get pulled up. And that's a good thing. Anyway, it's good timing. That'll give him something to think about over the New Year's. I hope he really enjoys his New Year's Eve party. Mr. Thune, I hope you do. The best thing you could do would probably go ahead and move to Venezuela or something like that, because you're going to be used as the whipping post. As soon as you get back, probably much quicker than that. And we're not going to let up on you. We didn't trust you. This is from my opinion only, guys, but I know a lot of you. We didn't trust you to start with, John. Now you've proven our instincts. Your lying eyes and the mannerism and the way you block some of the things you do, and then you want to spend $160 million a month on the Taliban? Really? Well, guys, my opinion about these crooked politicians and all of them getting filthy rich after a few terms, and we know how they do it. They get paid off. Pelosi and them, they know what the stock market's going to do before it does it. So each one of those people that stole our taxpayer money through these fraud schemes in Wisconsin or wherever, sending it overseas or wherever, and then everything they have, after they need to be locked up. Then everything they own, confiscated. Everything. And you refund us all that money. That's freedom and that's fair. Then you will prove yourself. So that's, guys, again, that has to happen. And if it was me and you, you'd go to jail, you'd pay restitution. It took the rest of your life. Right? These guys, they're not above the law. They think they are. But this will be a proving ground to see how far we let these snakes go. And again, it could be the final straw that breaks the back of Trump signing that Insurrection Act. Because this may trickle down from not only Thune and Nicole Wires, but other people in there. Again, those shifty eyes of Mike Johnson give me no comfort. The other fellow, Mr. Kennedy from Louisiana, at least he seems to be down to earth. But we may get a lot of tares being pulled out of the garden on this deal. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.